Welcome to PCSW Let's Talk Pay Equity, a bipartisan conversation based on the facts. Episode 1, Definitions, Pay Equity and Equal Pay for Equal Work. Since 1973, the Permanent Commission on the Status of Women in Connecticut has been providing expertise, research, resources, and advocacy to improve the lives of women and girls in Connecticut. We have always been and continue to be a bipartisan organization with a nonpartisan mandate. This is the first episode of our new multi-part media video series campaign, PCSW Let's Talk Pay Equity, working to dig into the heart of a complex and often not explained concept. In this first video, we will explore the definition of pay equity itself. Pay equity is defined as equal pay for work of equal value. In the context of women's pay equity, this means men and women should be paid equally for doing work that has equal value. How do we measure this and determine whether pay equity exists? First off, we can compare U.S. Census Bureau data and look at the average income of full-time working men and women in a given time period. For example, the 2018 median annual income of all full-time working men was $52,004. The 2018 median income of all full-time working women was $42,238, meaning there is a wage gap of $9,766. Therefore, in 2018, women earned 82 cents on the dollar compared to men. This is one measure of what we mean when we say wage gap. It's also important to note the intersectionality of this issue, disproportionately impacting certain minorities. For example, while the national average of all women is 82 cents on the dollar in comparison to men, Black women in the U.S. earn 62 cents, while Latinx or Hispanic women earn only 54 cents. Women in Connecticut typically make 84 cents for every dollar paid to men. This is higher than the national figure of 82 cents on the dollar. However, when other intersectional identities are taken into account, women of minorities in Connecticut actually have an even larger wage gap than the national figures. Black women in Connecticut, on average, make 57 cents for every dollar paid to men, in comparison to the national figure of 62 cents. Latinx and Hispanic women in Connecticut, on average, make 48 cents for every dollar paid to men, considerably lower than the national figure of 54 cents. The numbers above do not account for the fact that men, on average, hold higher paying jobs than women. Women in the U.S. hold, on average, only 30% of the manager to C-suite level jobs, which are the highest paying job categories. Women are 4 times more likely to hold a full-time job where wages put them below the federally defined poverty line. There are many systemic reasons for this disparity, which will be a topic for a subsequent video. While this does account for some of the wage gap, it does not cover it all. We've addressed situations in which men and women are holding different jobs. Let's talk about situations in which they are holding the same jobs at the same level. For situations like this, we use the term equal pay for equal work instead of pay equity. Equal pay for equal work is a narrower concept, addressing only situations in which men and women are doing substantially the same job at the same level with the same performance. Even when men and women are working in the same field, women are generally paid less than men. For example, female CEOs make 69.8% of what male CEOs make, and female retail salespersons make 71.1% of what their male counterparts make. There are a few fields that are exceptions to this rule, such as receptionists. Female receptionists earn 102 cents to the dollar earned by their male counterparts, but this is extremely uncommon. If we make a list of the 20 jobs most commonly held by women and the 20 jobs most commonly held by men, and then compare the average salaries of men and women in each of those 40 job categories, women make on average only 81.1% of what men make within that same category. Legislation has been passed at both federal and state levels working to address the pay gap. At the federal level, the first seminal legislation in this field, passed in 1963, focused on the concept of equal pay for equal work. In legislation after 1964, at both the federal and state levels, legislators elaborated on the definition of equal pay for equal work and began to legislate for equal pay for work that might not be identical but has the same value. This is where the broader term pay equity comes from. This broader term, pay equity, does leave room for questions. What 2 jobs have equal value? Who decides what 2 jobs have equal or comparable value? The employer? The employee? Does this change over time? Who decides what value means? The definition is imperfect and subjective. In videos that follow this one, we will delve further into legislative activity since 1964 and how this expanded definition factors in. This concludes Episode 1, Definitions of PCSW Let's Talk Pay Equity. Continue on for our data sources and visit our website at pcswct.org for more information on the PCSW. The PCSW started as a government commission of the Connecticut State Legislature and, in 2016, converted into 2 nonprofit corporations to continue carrying out our work. Today, the PCSW is comprised of a 501c3 corporation which provides research, resources, and education, and a 501c4 corporation which continues legislative advocacy in the areas of sexual harassment, domestic violence, family medical leave, pay equity, and human trafficking. Our mission in all of our work is today, as it always has been, to improve the lives of women and girls in Connecticut.